Okay. We're on. All right, y'all. So, you know that feeling when you put your all into something that you're so excited about and you can't wait to push it out to the world, make content about it. And when you put it out there, it flops or it gets really wild comments, nasty comments from people, or you just don't get the response or the reaction that you was looking for, and now all of a sudden you're starting to question whether you should be excited about it, like whether you should even put this thing out there or not. That's what I want to talk about today. So if y'all saw the title of this video about let don't let that bad comment stop your creativity, we are doing video number 5 in our forgiveness and creativity series that I have now made a playlist on YouTube, so you can go and check it out and you can catch up on all the different topics that we talked about, everything from perfectionism to shame to how unforgiveness holds up mental space and clutters your mind and causes confusion and procrastination and all of these other things that we're trying to understand the origins of. And the origin might be that you need to forgive somebody. Most times it's ourselves. So I want to tell y'all a story about one of the many times that I was disappointed when it came to putting something out there and the response was just boo boo. Okay. It was just trash. So there was this workshop that I put together, and I'm trying to remember what the name of this particular workshop was. I think that this one was called it was called Courage to Create. So this was actually a more recent one. I did this towards the end of last year. And I was super excited about this workshop because I felt it down in my shondo. Okay. Like I felt it deep, deep down. And I felt the passion for the topic of this workshop. So just to give you like a little idea, a little synopsis of what it was going to be about, it was going to be a video that a workshop that helped people to work past the fears and the apprehensions that they had and really be bold enough and courageous enough to be creative and go for the things that they've been dreaming about. And so this actually came like right at the end or right during this time in my life where I was having these really vivid dreams, and they were so vivid that I was going and trying to figure out like, what is this dream talking about? Like, let me try to interpret this and make sense of what it is that I am hearing. And so I felt like this was a important time for creatives. And I'm gonna pause right here because something that came up for me that I didn't remember until I started telling y'all this story is that there are a lot of times, a lot of instances where the thing that I was doing, it was ahead of its time. And I think that there's a lot of people that are drawn to my voice in particular that can relate to that feeling of putting things out there and noticing that people are not it's not clicking. Like what's not clicking for people? Why are they not getting this? Why aren't they moving with the urgency that I believe that they should have for this topic, right? Or this thing. And sometimes it is a matter of timing, and then other times it can be the fact that you're just not marketing it or talking about it in a way where it's making the connection clear for people, right? And so that's something that as creatives we can struggle very often with, especially when it comes to all the ideas that come to our head and even just the reason why we do what we do and all the different things that excite us and maybe are challenges for us. It can be a lot going on up here. And so I think about that often and how that can play into why we are like experiencing the challenges that we are with what we're putting out there. And so to bridge these two things together, I am I am hosting a oh y'all, actually I just remember something. Hold up. Hold up. I'm having like a little brain fog moment. If you can hear it, I got like some congestion going on, and my energy is just like whoo. So I might be a little all over the place. I thank you in advance for being patient with me in this video. Okay, we're gonna get through it. We're gonna make it. We're gonna be all right. Okay. So, all right, let's bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. So, okay. So the workshop, Courage to Create, I felt like it was just like the bee's knees. Okay. I thought this was gonna be this amazing, incredible, life altering workshop, right? And so I put it out there, and as I was talking about it, the first time I talked about it, there were people that was like, "Oh, this sounds cool. When is it happening? I love this. I'm excited about it." But then the closer that I got to the date and the more that I talked about the workshop, it was crickets. Okay, crickets. No one was signing up for this workshop, and I was starting to feel that similar sense of disappointment and frustration because this was just another time in my mind. This was just another time where something I really wanted to do, something I really wanted to put out there, that I really wanted to have or host that would help people is flopping. And so I just kind of like, washed my hands of it. I was like, you know what, it's fine. This happens. I tried to push the date off and then just never ended up really going through with that workshop. And so I have found myself in like in similar, it's a repeat pattern. Okay. I'm a repeat offender when it comes to having large gaps of time in between me hosting workshops. And so I've been thinking about a couple of things. And one thing that I keep hearing and recognizing is that people are in need of, they're in need of clarity, and they are in need of alignment. And I heard it the way that I heard it. Okay. I say it exactly how I heard it. Okay. There are so many people that are not on their Zoom, and I need you to go and find the link and log in. Okay. You're late for work, you're late for your shift. I need you to log back in because I am seeing the scattered, and it's almost kind of like frantic, but it doesn't look frantic energetically. But it feels frantic, like it feels chaotic inside. And so I was realizing that, oh man, I'm noticing a lot of people are having a hard time right now when it comes to promoting their things and attracting the right people to their services and to their products. So I mustered up the courage once again to host another workshop. Okay. This workshop is called Selling Without Selling Out. And it is actually a workshop that I have hosted before. And I'm bringing it back around because, for one, the last time I did, the last time it was actually set up as a challenge. This time it's just going to be a workshop. And I believe that I have a lot more clarity and I'm a lot more specific on what the takeaway is going to be for this workshop. And so this is for the people who are feeling, they're feeling not burnt out, but you're close. And you feel like you kind of keep circling the same things, and you're consistently creating content, you're consistently showing up for yourself, but it still feels like it's not enough. You still feel like something's not clicking. And even the people that you are attracting and drawing to you, they are excited to be around. They're excited to be around you and near you, but it doesn't feel like it's the right people, or it doesn't feel like it's people that are in a place where they're willing to or prepared to buy from you or to invest in your services. And so you're feeling this sense of frustration and resentment around your community and what you are putting out into the world, how you're marketing and expending your energy, but feeling like you're not getting what you desire in return. And an important part of this whole thing is that when you look at what other people are doing and you see the success that they have in doing this thing, but what it is that they're doing feels so generic. It feels like the things that are winning right now are the things that are unoriginal, the things that are the same, they're just copies of everybody else doing the same thing. And it feels like you can't succeed or you can't win doing what it is that you do in the way that is authentic to you, in the way that comes most naturally to you. It almost feels like there's something wrong with you. It feels like there's something wrong with you. And so it's not funny, but it is kind of funny because when you think about it, the when you think about it, there's so many of the issues that you're having is that you just need to get back in alignment. And so this workshop is going to help you to do that without feeling like you have to sell things you don't care about, without feeling like you have to compromise and you have to just do what it takes to make the money. What if you could do what invigorates you? You could do what brings you joy, the thing that you're passionate about, and make money doing it. That's always my mission. That's always my goal, is to show people how that works together, because it does. So the workshop is going to be hosted, it's going to be October 13th. And so I would love to have you there. I would love to be able to serve you and to help you work through it. It is going to be a challenging workshop. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. Never lie to you. It's not going to be the easiest workshop, because it's going to require for you to really be honest, but it is going to be so exciting to see that possibilities again, and to feel the passion and the excitement that has been missing from what it is that you're doing. So that's the workshop. That's what's happening. And it is a perfect illustration and breakdown of what it looks like to forgive yourself and to not let that bad comment, let that failed launch, let the thing that you put out and didn't get interest in, the frustration that you're feeling when it comes to creating and marketing, all of those things, don't allow those to be what stops you from being creative. And so I'm going to show you, by the end of this, I'm going to show you the correlation between your between forgiveness and your creativity when it comes to those experiences. So the comments, the negative comments, the backlash, the crickets, all of it. We're going to talk about that today. So if you are ready, if you are excited and you're still here after my very slow start to this, then I'm excited to get into this topic, y'all. So I'm scrolling. I'm going to get in my notes out. Okay. So here is what it might look like to be showing up but still not really be showing up. Because one thing that you might not realize is that forgiveness or unforgiveness is very, very sneaky sometimes. And there are things that have occurred, that have happened, that we maybe just don't think about no more. We still experience it in our bodies. We still respond to it according to however it went that last time, but we're not consciously recycling or replaying the things that we feel resentment towards, or the things that we feel discouraged by, or the things that we need to forgive. And so what I want to bring out are some of some of the sneaky and subtle ways that forgiveness might be showing up. Okay. So y'all let me know. Okay. Stop me if this feels familiar. So the first thing is, you show up online consistently, right? You are always online, you're always creating content, but when it comes to talking about your offers, you're real quiet. You keep it real demure, and you need to be loud. You need to be consistent. You need to be putting that product, that service in people's face, and not in a way where, honestly, let me not even say it that way. It might feel like you are bombarding people with it, but when people say that, a lot of times it is really just a way of saying that I feel afraid to really go for it. I feel challenged by the idea of really putting and promoting my product, right? Or maybe you do what I call a soft launch. And this is not the soft launch where you show the hand of the boyfriend or the man that you don't want people to see his face, nothing like that. But this is more like you hint at your products, or you maybe mention it in passing, or it comes up like casually, but you never fully stand behind it, right? And this one is one that I've been guilty of plenty of times, and especially when it comes to not talking about my products or my offers until someone else brings them up. I know. I know. Sometimes I wouldn't talk about it. You wouldn't even know until somebody else was like, "Hey, Jada does this or Jada has that." Right? And this is not to say that there isn't always a time and a place for things, but this is really, you don't talk enough about your thing. Like, you don't have enough excitement and energy behind what you're doing, right? The other thing that is a sneaky way that this shows up is that you put your thing out once, right? And you maybe you put all of your effort into creating like one video for it, and that video doesn't do what you feel like it should do, and you feel so embarrassed that you don't bring it up again. Or maybe you felt courageous one day and you was like, you know what, I'm just gonna boldly put my offer out there. I'm gonna make a post on Threads. I'm just gonna put it out there, and secretly you were hoping that it went viral and no one paid attention to it. No one commented on it, or maybe they did, but it ended up being like those spam accounts. I hate those spam accounts, by the way. When it's like, send us this post on Instagram. Oh, it's so annoying. And like, nothing is worse than putting your all into something, and then the only people that see it is like spam or bots. Listen, I get it, girl. I get it. And I know that that is oftentimes enough for us to say, I'm not built for this. No one cares. This is bad. I'm terrible at this. All the things that we say. And when those things happen, those are all really good opportunities for you to forgive yourself, to forgive yourself for what you didn't know, to forgive yourself for not creating enough to market your product, not giving your product a fair shot, not giving yourself enough time to really build a launch, to get your content enough time to cycle around and to really get pushed somewhere, to or forgiving yourself for not having that conversation with that person that you met when they brought up the very thing that you do and you stayed quiet, right? All of these things can end up being offenses for ourselves that make it so that when it comes to promoting anything new and putting anything new out there, we are either replaying these past times, these past failures, or we are experiencing the resistance in our bodies and in our hearts, and we are not able, we feel stuck, we feel like we can't move forward, we can't get it right, we can't stay consistent because the offenses are replaying in our minds and in our bodies. Okay, so if you feel like you can hear yourself, if I'm in your business with this, let me know. I promise you, I won't do too much. Okay, I'm gonna keep it cute, but I do want to know if y'all have noticed this about yourself, or if this is something that I am bringing to your attention for the first time, which will really make me feel excited, because now that means that now that you know, you can fix it and you can try again. Okay. So, all right. So let's get into some of the details. So this whole series I've been researching like crazy, y'all. Like, I've been going all in on creativity in general and what it means to think creatively, move creatively, improve your creativity, all of that good stuff, right? And so there's a couple of resources that I have found that speak to forgiveness and creativity. And so I'm going to break these down for you, because these are, when I realized that there was evidence to back up these claims, I was so excited because, like I said before, this is something I've been saying for so long. I've been saying it for so long that people need to forgive for so many different reasons, but they need to forgive for you so that you can move forward, right? So Here is the first one. The first one is actually from, I think this one is, oh, I'm not seeing the source on here. That's okay though. So, okay. So we know that the research shows that unforgiveness takes up your mental space. And instead of using that energy to create, you are replaying your past flops and your rejections. And that's why when you have, let's say for instance, you have a product that you put out, like let's say you put out a workbook, right? A digital workbook, and you put it out there and it doesn't feel like no one's buying it. There's not even a feeling. No one bought it the first day you put it out. But that feels like such a heavy rejection to you. It feels like it cut so deep because you are also responding to the past times that it didn't work out. Isn't that crazy? So like you feel like, why am I making this such a big deal? Why am I making this so much bigger than what it is? But it's because it's been building up. So you're just stacking up all of the experiences that told you you're not meant to do this. Nobody wants what you have to offer. Your product sucks. Get a job. Why are you even doing this? Hang it up. All of these things are stacking up. And so it's almost like that one rejection is like the thing that just like tipped everything over. Right? Y'all get where I'm going with that? And so I thought that it was so interesting that there was language and even research that shows you that although you may feel like you're being sensitive to the rejection, you really might be responding to all the rejections that you have felt because you haven't yet forgiven yourself for those things. You haven't really processed those things. And so that's why one thing, one bad move, one bad comment, one thing that feels like it's so small can take you over the edge, and it can make it so that you don't want to put it out no more. You're like, look, clearly I'm a flop. This is my flop era. I'm a head out, right? So that's the first one that I thought was super cool. Not cool that it's cool that's happening, but cool that we know now, right? Okay, so the next one is from Brene Brown, and she talks about something called art scars. Okay. And so she found that over 85% of people can name a shaming moment tied to creativity. Okay. That's what art scars are. And when they're tied to offenses that are tied to creativity, and it's what we carry with us. Okay. So that's what makes it a scar. And so she said those scars don't just sit quietly, but they show up every time you push yourself out there again. And if you don't deal with them, they turn into resentment. All right. And resentment is a very interesting one because a lot of times when you are not expressing your creativity, unused creativity turns into resentment. Are y'all hearing me? Unused creativity can turn into resentment. And it can all be tied back to those shaming moments, those moments where we felt shame, embarrassment, and we are carrying those things with us. And we feel like we're protecting ourselves from being hurt. What we're really doing is just building up resentment and hurting ourselves even deeper in the process. And so have you ever met somebody that I feel like I've met a couple people like this where it just feels like they're just so cranky and unhappy and nothing is good enough and they just seem like they're just miserable. But when you look at what they do, maybe all they do is work, go home, eat, go to sleep. Maybe they watch some TV, but there is no actual expression of creativity. But this might be somebody who is a really dope musician, or this could be somebody who is actually really clever and is entertaining, and people would love to watch them on YouTube, or they would love to see them in a skit, but they have convinced themselves that nobody wants to hear what they have to say. Nobody wants to see their creativity. It's not profitable. There's no money in it. Why are you're not creative enough to do this? All the things that are attached to shame that has caused that person to no longer create. And now they are resentful. because of it. And so I thought that that was really interesting that like down the line, even if it's not like full, like a fully, like you're not like a fully bitter person, there still can be some resentment that's there. And when it's there, it makes it harder for you to be creative because again, the unforgiveness, the resentment, the shame, the embarrassment, all that stuff is sitting in your heart and in your mind. There's another study, not really a study, but it's like a perspective rather, by somebody named Julia Cameron. And she is the author of The Artist's Way, which I have mentioned a few times on this platform. And she talks about creative blocks being fear, not laziness. And I believe there's something that I actually mentioned in one of the previous videos when I'm talking about procrastination isn't laziness, it is fear. Okay. So I feel like I think that we can all just like come together and accept that we have really misassigned laziness and procrastination. Okay. So most times when people are procrastinating, they are afraid. Okay. They're afraid there is a lack somewhere, whether it is perceived or whether it really is something that you don't have, a resource, a skill, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. And so research shows that self forgiveness actually boosts your creativity, while shame without forgiveness shuts it down. And so that actually was an interesting study that I'll go into more one day. Like I might do like a video essay or something I've always wanted to do. I want to do a video essay one day. This feels like it's like little mini papers, video essays, like mini essays. This isn't like a full blown essay. I might do that one day. But anyway, but the cool thing about it was that shame actually can be a motivating factor in your creativity. But if you're not working to forgive it, like if you're using the shame and the shame is just there and you haven't forgiven yourself for it, it doesn't actually motivate you. It actually demotivates you, and it makes you more likely to procrastinate, to be resentful, to be bitter, and most importantly, it will limit what you actually are willing to do and the risk that you're willing to take because you're holding on to the shame. And so, without forgiveness, your hesitation will fester into resentment, and you end up not moving forward, but watching other people who might do what you do or something similar, or people that you came up with, that you started out with, and you see them starting to go further than you because they were able to release it. Maybe, I mean, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I don't know what they were doing, but you're watching other people do what you want to do because you haven't released the shame and the resentment and the fear, right? And so that sting can make the resentment even bigger, and it really festers, and it just all turns into this really shameful cycle that stops you from the creative output that you want to have. Listening to see. Okay. We're good. I had to listen to see if my son's bus is coming. Okay. So that's the study I've done so far on that. There was something else that I wanted to mention in reference to the research side of that, but I can't think of what that is right now. Charge it to this brain fog that I'm working through right now. But I hope that y'all can see from what I did share how forgiveness can turn into unforgiveness, can turn into resentment, and that resentment, it festers and it grows. The more that the shame builds on, the more that you see the other people that are in your field going and growing, and it feels like you're getting left behind because your creativity has been honestly like abducted. There's another word that I wanted to use, but abducted is what came to mind. Like it's been, what's the hijack? There we go. It's been hijacked. And so I really want y'all to see that with each video that I'm doing in this, and even the points that I'm sharing with you, because each video I've been sharing different points and tips to help you to identify it and things that you can do to improve it, to forgive. But as I share those, I'm about to share some tips, some signs of hesitation with you in just a second. But I hope that y'all can start to see how the when you start to forgive, how it gives you space again. It gives you that willingness and that hope that you need to try again. And I've really been feeling I've just been feeling like this pull more and more towards creativity and authentic, not even authenticity, yes, but originality, creativity, people who are willing to be trendsetters, people who are willing to break the mold, and feeling discouraged in their past attempts to do it and not having the knowledge or the under the not the, yeah, the knowledge or even the resources to show them how to do differently, how to move differently, and what it looks like when it's not really a creative block. Is it's your creativity has been hijacked. It's being held captive by unforgiveness. And when you are willing to confront those things, you can release your creativity. As I was given that example, it made me imagine a room. And let's imagine like we're in a building, and that building is your heart. And the your creativity used to be free to just roam all around this building and go into every space, every area that it wanted to go into, right? Like it was bringing a little bit of creativity everywhere. But then as it started going into these different rooms in this building, it started to encounter disappointment, and then that pushed it further away, or it shut it down from that room. And then maybe something over here, you got a negative comment when you posted that video in that outfit that you really felt nervous about posting, but you did it anyway. And so now your creativity is being shut out of that space too in the building. And then like with each thing, each offense, your creativity is being pushed further, further, further into a room where it can't go past this space, because all the things that have occurred are still occupying that space. And so when you are willing to confront those things, to address them, forgive them, you are able to then go into the room where the creativity is and open the door and give it space to start to roam again, give it space to go free. And even in that analogy, I think about how it might happen room by room, space by space, offense by offense. And it may not be this full rush of creativity that you may desire, but you can start to see, oh, that idea came to me, or I actually talked to so and so about this and they gave me this idea. And you tried something out and you're like, okay, a couple of people really was rocking with that, maybe I should keep this going. Or somebody comes up to you and they give you a compliment, or they tell you how a video that you posted really helped them, or they've been using your product for a long time and they just never got the chance to tell you to your face that they love what you do. But you get that compliment, you get that reassurance, and now you're seeing, oh, I can be this person, this creative person, this free person again. So that's the metaphor that came to my mind. I felt like I had to share that because it was so vivid when I was talking. And I was like, oh yeah, nah. Let me go ahead and let y'all have that. Sit on that for a second. But that's how I feel this series is supposed to support you and to show you what it looks like. So with that being said, let's get into the three signs of hesitation and what it looks like when you're hesitating and resentment is the reason why. The first one is dancing around the sale. Okay. You over here, doing the robot around everything you're supposed to be saying, except I have this product for sale. You're showing up, but you're never directly making the sale, making extending the invitation, telling people, what do I do, where do I go to get something from you? How do I work with you? You're not telling them that, because you're telling them, oh, you're doing a great job of being relatable, you're doing a great job of hitting their pain points, or you've done a great job creating the product in general, you made something amazing, but you're still not. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I'm back. Okay. So, okay. Dancing around the sale, doing everything but telling people what to do and where to go to give you their money. Okay. So maybe you are you're doing a great job of showcasing what the product can do, or telling your story, or establishing yourself, all the things, but actually telling people what you are offering, right? That's the first sign. And especially because if you can think about, let's say you had like your last 10 interactions with people, whether this is online or in person, your last 10 interactions with people who could potentially be clients or customers of yours, how many of those times did you directly extend an offer? How many times did you directly say, I have this, if you need it, go here to get it? Right? And I'm being very simplistic in my example of that. But really think about it. How often have you just simply told people what it is that they can buy or purchase? That's the first sign. Okay. Sign number two is staying busy in the safe zone. And this one eats us up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is the one where it is a lot of busy work, right? And it doesn't feel like busy work because you are it doesn't feel like busy work because you're doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing. You got this whole campaign mapped out, you got your content strategy in place on a Google Doc somewhere. You have the content that you've been creating. There's no call to action in the content, but you're making content, right? You are sending these really great emails, you're writing these really great blog posts, you're making these amazing things, but you are not actually doing the thing that's going to give you revenue, right? It's not actually leading, it's not converting to anything. And so things like, and this is getting into a little bit further than what I want to get into, but things like revenue generating activity. So, are you having conversations with people? Are you responding to DMs in a way where it encourages people to check out what you have? Are you posting things in your stories that lets people know, if you want this, comment this, or if you're interested in this, here is where you go to get it? Right? Are you doing things that directly can lead to sales? Are you pitching yourself? For some people, are you telling people, when you see somebody posting on threads and they are asking for somebody to help them to do the thing that you do, are you throwing your hat in the ring? Are you leaving a comment and letting them know that you're there? These are the things that can and oftentimes do lead to conversions. But those are the things that we tend to avoid, especially as creatives. We tend to avoid the thing that actually is the revenue generating activities. Now, our last one is letting one voice get too loud. Okay. And this is where I was getting at in the beginning of this live, where I was talking about that one person who didn't book. Or, ooh, and that one, y'all, that one can really mess with you. It can really mess with you, especially if you have been conversing with this person. You were like, you just sent a proposal, or maybe you just like they've been saying, oh, I want to book with you, I want to do this, where do I go? What do you have? And y'all, it's talking real good. It's sounding real good. But then when it comes to that payment actually being made, People aren't making it. And those things, those little things can really mess with us because now we're internalizing it and we're making it a matter of, oh, well, if you're not going to book with me after all of this, and if you're not going to take the proposal, then why am I even doing this? What am I doing this for? And it can be enough for many of us to not try again because that one experience is just a no. It makes me think about the concept of shooting your shot. And I always joke and say that all it'll take is for one man to reject me, and I'll never do it again. And I feel like that's exactly what happens. Like all it takes is one time. You tell me no one time, I ain't never shooting my shot again. I ain't no DM nothing. You ain't gonna know. You ain't gonna know nothing. Okay, and that can be the mentality that we have when it comes to our business. Is all it takes is one rejection, one no, one bad comment. You ain't got to worry about me. I'm a go. And so those things, those three things are how hesitation with resentment, resentment at the foundation of it, that's how it manifests. So dancing around the sale, staying busy in the safe zone, and letting one voice get too loud. These are all ways that we can be operating with unforgiveness. And one question I want you to ask yourself, especially when it comes to the number three, letting one voice get too loud, is are you letting one rejection erase all the proof that people actually value what you do? So are you letting that one no, that one rejection or perceived rejection, are you letting that one thing stop you from seeing the value, or no, not seeing the value, from recognizing that other people value what you do? So many more people value what you do than they don't. Okay. And so oh, he's here, y'all. My mom's getting them. So I want to wrap this up because I'm about to get distracted in a second, but I want to wrap this up by telling you that hesitation, sometimes it feels like a strategy. It feels like you're being strategic and you're being mindful and you're moving with wisdom, but most times you're not, especially if the underlying current is resentment, right? It's not a strategy. It is unforgiveness in disguise. And the more that you sit with it, the more that it hardens into resentment. And so here's what I want you to do. Okay. Here's how we're going to break it. I want you to write down one flop that occurred. Okay. Whether that was a launch, a service, workshop, product, whatever it is, I want you to write that down. Then the next thing that I want you to write under it, next to it, wherever you have the space on that page, is that this moment doesn't define what happens next. I need you to make that declaration. I want you to write it and I want you to say it out loud, because that's going to be the first step in retraining your mind, your heart, your body to respond to you trying again in a new way. Okay. And And then as you're doing that, I want you to start to shift and reframe from what if nobody buys to what if the right person is waiting for me to make the offer? What if the right person is waiting for me to extend the invitation? Because most times that's the issue. It's not the product, it's not you, it's just the language that you're using and even the mentality that you have when you're doing it that is coming across, whether people are aware of it or not. And so this is how we are going to start to shift and forgive and put some action behind that forgiveness so that we can create new experiences for ourselves. Okay. All right, y'all. So a couple of things that I want you to keep in mind as I wrap this up. The first thing is that hesitation keeps you half committed. And if you're half committed, you might as well just not do it. Might as well just not be doing it, because doing it halfway, doing it, but when you really don't believe that it's going to work, that's what's going to happen. It's not going to work no matter how hard you work at it. And it's going to be because you aren't going to be able to be flexible, be creative, be resilient enough to pivot and adjust and to recognize what needs to change without it being a personal attack. Okay. I really want y'all to understand and be able to recognize how you can be working so hard, but if you don't believe it, if you're not embodying it, if it's not something that you even believe like a little bit, all of your hard work is going to be for nothing. It's going to be for nothing, and it's going to make it where you aren't able to come up with the solutions that you need for yourself and that people need from you. Okay, so the longer you sit in the hesitation, the more resentment grows, and that is going to affect how willing you are to take the risks that you need to take as a creative. Okay, so the shift happens when you recognize and reframe how you perceive the last thing that flopped, didn't work out. When you shift that, everything else will start to shift with it too. Okay, so with all of that being said, I want you all to let me know first, how are y'all enjoying this series? Has this been good for you? Has it been helpful for you? Because I I did this kind of on a whim. And I know how like nerdy I can get about stuff like this, and I love learning about it because I love coming up with new ways to help people. And my passion truly and deeply is in helping people to recognize how creative they really can be. And so that's what I want to be able to offer y'all. And so let me know if this series has been helpful for you. And I want you to let me know also, this video in particular relevant? Like, can you think of a past flop? Can you think of actually, I don't want to hear about your flops. I don't want to hear about your flops. Let's make this a time to reframe it in person. I want you to let me know what it is that you are going to gather the courage to go for again. That's what I want to hear from you. So let me know what that is. Drop them in the comments, and I would love to go through them, read them, engage with you in them, because we need it. We need you. We need your creativity. We need your voice. We need your perspective. We need your style. And however I can help you to bring that out, it's my pleasure and it is an honor to help you. So let me know those things. I will see y'all for our sixth and final video. We're going to be wrapping everything up in the next video. So I'm a little sad, but I'm also excited because I have another series in mind. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Oh, and then the last thing, I don't even know how this slipped my mind, y'all. I dropped a video called Style to Speak. Okay. I'm actually going to highlight it on the channel, on my channel homepage, because it is the journey of my mom, styling my mom for a big night, a big day, and a big night. It's a big day overall. Whole day was a big day. She was a moderator, and she was also a honored guest in an interview because she is a Black romance author. And so um she needed to look on point. Okay, my goal always is for her to be the best looking person there. Okay, I don't care how good you look, you can look your best, but my goal is to make her the best looking person there. And not even because it's a competition. It's a little bit of a competition. But it's like only like 2% competition, 3%, 4%, 5%. I'll make like, 10%, 15%. Anyway, it's not a competition fully, but what I really want is for her to be represented well visually, because I already know that she's going to come with the substance to match it. And so we put together her outfits, and I also was the person who captured all the content. I edited the video for her, and it is beautiful. That's like the best way to describe it. It is a beautiful, like storytelling of what it took for her to get to this place, why she did what she did. It's like a beautiful introduction to her as an author. And I am so honored that I was able to capture it for her. So go and check it out. It is a testament to her, and it is also an example of what I want to be able to do for more people. It's something that I call a brand style, not a brand style documentary, a brand story documentary. So it's documentary style, it's her brand story. And so I am just so like beyond proud of it. I think at this point, last time I checked, it had like 250 views, and I just posted it yesterday. And those kind of numbers are just like not usual for my long form videos. And so I also took it as a sign that I'm really moving in the right direction with this. So I'm just feeling really good about it, and I am excited for the people that get to watch it and see themselves in it as well. So go and check it out. And that's what I got for y'all. Those are all of my announcements. And I'll see y'all next time. I don't think you'll see me until next week. So I hope that you have a good weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your time and whatever you choose to do. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.